only on Bloomberg Quint.
Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I am Darshan Mehta. Joining us today are three technical experts: Dyaneshwar Padwal of KIFS Securities, Kunal Rambhia of the Streets, and Venkatraman of Chart Advice. Before we begin the show with our analyst, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Ujjivan Financial Services. Good afternoon, Yash. What is the chart indicating?
Afternoon, Darshan. So there's a sell call coming in on Ujjivan, and we're using the proprietary Bloomberg indicator, which is the fear and greed indicator. So it basically oscillates on a zero basis line, and the value on the fear and greed indicator has turned negative. So we are seeing a red bar over here, and that indicates that, from these current levels, there could be weakness. Now, over the last three trading sessions, we've seen that the stock has been on a downtrend. Today, too, on the back of very heavy volumes, the stock is down, and crucially the low point of the day, that is where the 21-day exponential moving average is as well. So from these current levels, and with the fear and greed indicator turning negative, we could expect some downside from Ujjivan. Okay,
and yes, if you did a back calculation as to the last time such an indicator did happen, what was the return?
So Darshan, on an average, the return that one could expect on the downside over the next 10 trading sessions could be anywhere between 3 to 3.5%.
Okay, but thanks so much for that, Yash. So Ujjivan is the first stock that we'll speak about. Dyaneshwar, what's your view on Ujjivan? Are you negative?
Yeah, of course, Darshan, if you look at the weekly time frame chart, so stock was moving into the lower top, lower bottom formation, and recently it has given a very good pullback and the recent vertical wave formation has been stopped near about the 50% Fibonacci retracement of the previous fall. So I would go short because the renewed weakness is clearly observed in the chart. I can keep a stop loss of near about 300 mark, and initial leg of down move towards the 220.
Okay, that's so 220 probably is something that can come in. Kunal?
Certainly, since October end, this stock was clearly making higher top, higher bottoms. But recent higher tops were not marginally, they were not substantially higher compared to the previous highs. So, and today's fall is huge in magnitude. So I'll keep the stop loss of 295 going short on this counter at CMP itself.
Okay, go short with 295 stop loss. Raja?
Yeah, I would be agreeing with the negative view. The current scenario it has retraced 50% of the entire fall, and the negative DI is also inching up, which says that the momentum is now going to set in. So one should actually be looking to initiate a short current levels.
Okay, so it's a 4-on-4 as far as Ujjivan is concerned, short, and there could be more potential downside that could come in. But let's begin with the first chart from our first analyst. Apollo Hospitals is the stock that Dyaneshwar is speaking about. It's trading at a 52-week high. What's the way ahead? Is it a buy recommendation or a sell recommendation, Dyaneshwar?
Yeah, it is a buy recommendation because if you look at the overall chart structure, so stock was unfolded into the corrective pattern, and the stock has made a bottom near about the correction fall has been captured in the proximity of 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of the previous bull move. And right now the stock has made a pattern of inverse head and shoulder. It has given a clear breakout, and it is sustained above that neckline. And if you look at the overall indicators, that is RSI, relative strength index. So can you just zoom in the RSI? So
yeah, they'll just do it.
So if you look at the RSI, when stock was unfolded into the corrective pattern, RSI was trading below the 60 level. Right now, the RSI has shifted the range. So RSI is moving towards the northern trajectory, which will eventually add the strength to the underline. So most probably my target would be 1550, and traders can keep a stop loss of 1270.
Okay, a couple of quick questions. How is this trend line, neckline made? How did you make it? What's the rationale?
So if you can look at the overall chart structure of the bottom of Apollo Hospital, so this would be an shoulder, first shoulder. This is the head, and the second shoulder has been created over here. And if I draw a trend line, so that is called as a neckline, and stock has given a breakout above the neckline and sustained well above the neckline.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Apollo. Thank you so much for that, Dyaneshwar. Apollo Hospital, we'll ask our other guest view, but just to say that it's been one of the best performing hospital stocks, while the other counters, you know, the recently listed are trading below their issue price. Apollo is just some 10% or 15% away from its record high. But what's the view with the other analyst? Kunal, would you be bullish on Apollo Hospital?
Absolutely. The pattern which is suggested by him is perfect. You know, you look at the counters since 2016, it was in downtrend. August 2018, that downtrend is turned into an uptrend. It's clearly making higher top, higher bottom formation. Neckline is perfectly drawn. It's a buy on dip kind of stock. Without keeping target, we can hold the counter for longer period.
Okay, Raja, what about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely a buyer in this. Ever since the breakout emerged in November after 1200, the stock has been on a steady rise, and consolidation around 1300. The stock has now given a strong push to the upside. So I would be a buyer on declines towards 1300, 1320 levels with a stop loss below 1250 for an upside towards 1450.
Okay, so it's a 3-on-3 that's coming in on Apollo Hospitals, and one of the key reason to add a fundamental view is post second quarter number. A very strong set of numbers. Their capex is behind them. Only one hospital, that is the Nasik hospital, is now yet to break even. Apart from it, all the other hospitals, including the Mumbai one, have broken even on the EBITDA level. So that is something that works for Apollo Hospitals, and that's something that's not working for the other hospital because the capex is still pending. Let's move on to the next one, and again we'll stick to the pharma and healthcare theme. Strides Shasun is something that has fallen significantly, but right now it's range bound. But Kunal has a buy on Bollinger Bands. If you can explain what this Bollinger Band means and why are you bullish, what is catching your eye here that could give a breakout?
Correct. Now look at this counter since 2018 beginning, so that's exactly May month. From May till now the stock is under consolidation. In this point of time, if you check out the volumes were significantly higher compared to the entire fall. Yeah. Okay, that's the first thing to watch out for. Second thing is that the stock gave us a major spike from the bottom till the higher level. Stock went up to 530 kind of levels. Bollinger Bands, since last 3 years, this stock has never got plotted outside the Bollinger Bands.
Okay.
So now you check out the entire 3 years performance, there was not even a single closing where it was outside the Bollinger Bands. Here, today the stock is down by around 3.5%. But the stock has already plotted once outside this Bollinger Bands. And look at the RSI, the stock was in consolidation. RSI is making constantly higher bottoms. So, you know, keeping all things in mind, this is a clear accumulation stock. Buy on declines until say around 500 levels. I would not really give more importance to the stop loss for this because it's in accumulation, it's an investment call. Keeping the minimum target on the higher side is 650. 650.
If you can pull up the chart again, can you explain how these are these automatically plotted, or what's the rationale of these Bollinger Bands?
So, you know, Bollinger Band has it's a 2% standard deviation of the price.
Okay.
Okay, so that's automatically plotted. But at the same time, when the band goes narrow, that's always when the stock is in consolidation.
Okay.
Now this band will get enter into expansion phase. Once the price gets plotted outside the Bollinger Bands, that's known as a very bullish sign.
Okay.
So keeping that in mind, looking at the volume and the RSI formation, I'm very bullish on the count.
Okay, and just to highlight, I think is that because a similar case on the downside was seen here when it started falling?
It started falling from this level. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Strides Pharma is something that we need to watch out for. Raja, what's your view on Strides? Would you be positive?
Yeah, I'm having two opinions here. The first is that I'm agreeing with the view that it has bottomed out and it is on its way up. But right now, I would not be a buyer. I would wait for a move above 530,
okay,
wherein it will clear the recent set of resistances, and then it has got an upward towards almost till 700. So it's a strong bullish candidate, but I would wait till it crosses 530.
Okay, wait and watch. Dyaneshwar?
Yeah, Darshan, if you look at the overall chart structure, so higher time frame tells us that if you look at the RSI, so RSI has given the hidden divergence where, you know, the stock is not making new low as the previous low, it is not crossing the previous low, and on the RSI it is not making new low, so it is an hidden kind of divergence, so that would be a great buying opportunity. And simultaneously he has mentioned very good in a way that if you time a entry, so you have to go to the lower time frame. If I consider the lower time frame like in weekly, so after a sideways consolidation in this week, the renewed strength is clearly observed on the chart. So I would be a buyer. I can keep a stop loss of 480 and I would wait for the initial leg of up move towards the 550, 560.
Okay, so it's a consensus bullish call that's coming in. Raja, however, would buy only after a breakout, but nevertheless the trend seems to be on the higher side for Strides. And Raja, you have a chart on Mahanagar Gas this time around. Let's pull up the chart and you explain why you should buy this and explain the rationale of this Fibonacci.
Yeah. So the stock, after its decline from August last year, it actually broke down with a gap, and then the stock has been in a continuous decline, and now it's showing us a rising trend ever since November. And the entire rise has consolidated around this area. This area, if you see, is around this gap region. So this gap region is actually held the prices for a long time, and now the prices are looking to go up. That's reason number one. Reason number two is, if you draw a Fibonacci retracement, 61.8 is a very key level to watch out for. So that level was actually holding up the prices for quite a bit of time, almost 2 months. Now you're witnessing a breakout, and with oil and gas space also buzzing. So you can see that the momentum is now picking up. So all this indicates a potential move to the upside.
Okay. So that's the view that's coming in. What's the stop loss and target?
The stop loss will be 890.
Okay.
And for an upside towards first target is 975. And the upwards is 1025.
Okay, so potential 75 to 100 rupee upside is something. Thank you so much for that, Raja. Kunal, MGL, would you be a buyer?
So, the consolidation pattern is perfect, but at the same time, this stock is not able to surpass 920 mark. It tried attempting third time, which was the third day was today itself. The stock is not able to surpass 920. So it's in the broad range of 920 to 880. So, I would think of either buying near 880, keeping the stop loss of 870 itself, or I would enter above 920 mark.
Okay, so wait and watch. What about you, Dyaneshwar?
Darshan, if you look at the current chart structure, after making a bottom near about 756, stock is marching towards a northern trajectory, and once the momentum starts, price tends to remains in the momentum more or less in the same direction until and unless it won't break the 860 mark. So I would be buyer in this counter.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Mahanagar Gas. Let's move on to the second round of chart. Starting off with a sell call this time around. Dyaneshwar has a sell call on Godrej Consumer. It's a sell call. What are the charts suggesting? Dyaneshwar, if you can tell what's the indicator that you've used and why are you bearish?
Yeah, if you look at the recent chart structure of this stock, so recently the stock has given the vertical wave formation towards the southern trajectory, and after that the stock has given the pullback, and the bullish momentum has been caught in the proximity of 61.8% Fibonacci retracement, and after that we are seeing the weakness on the chart. So and simultaneously, if we look at the RSI, can you just zoom out the RSI?
Yeah.
So RSI has given the first sign of weakness. So it has given an intermediate trend line breakdown, which eventually push RSI towards the southern trajectory. So it will add the weakness to the underline. So that's why I'm bearish on this counter.
Okay, what's the target? What's the stop loss?
Yeah, my target would be on 700. I can keep a stop loss of 850 on a closing basis.
850 and 700 is the target. How soon do you expect this?
Within a month.
Within a month. So that's a quite negative view that's coming. Thank you so much for that, Dyaneshwar. Raja, Godrej Consumer, what's your view?
I would like to remain neutral, because in the month of November it had formed a large body positive candle, and the entire move is being contained in that candle. So I would be an avoid right now. It's neither a buy nor sell.
Okay, Kunal, your view?
So what Raja is saying, up to some extent I agree on that view. This counter is not clearly showing a sign of weakness. So I would say I would go short on the counter below 775. Otherwise, it would be a buy on dip opportunity till 775.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on the counter. Dyaneshwar is indicating. Dyaneshwar, would you sell at this level, or is that what's your strategy?
Selling at current market price. Current market price selling would be a great opportunity, because risk reward ratio is quite favorable.
Okay, so Dyaneshwar is indicating that sell at the current price, but it's a no trade for Raja, and he would say, and Kunal will sell only below if the stock moves below a certain level. So that's the view that's coming in on Godrej Consumer. Moving on, the next chart that we have is LIC Housing Finance. The counter has slipped below its 200 DMA, but what is the chart suggesting? Is it a buy or a sell recommendation, Kunal?
So perfect. What you're highlighting is correct. This stock is clearly below 200 days moving average itself, which was my first point. But look at this consolidation pattern which is emerging here. So by any chance, the first trigger would be, say, once once the stock goes above 495, which is my buying trigger level, so this stock will clearly surpass 200 days moving average. At the same time, look at RSI. RSI is forming, positive divergences. At the same time, there was a triangle formation on RSI. So when you look at this triangle formation, yesterday was the first sign of reversal. So if this RSI continues to make higher top, higher bottom formation, coming back to the chart, the stock is clearly making higher top, higher bottom formation since the bottom here itself. So it's clearly higher top, higher bottom. It's struggling right now because it's near to 200 days moving average. So looking at the volume pattern, looking at the price pattern, and inside this triangle, look at this curve formation, which is saying that the stock is getting accumulated as of now. So I'm bullish on this counter only above 495.
Okay.
Keeping the stop loss of 475, I expect the stock to go at least 550, 560.
But you would not buy at this level?
No, at this point of time, I'll keep it on radar at least.
Okay, 495.
Perfect.
Okay, that's about it. What about you, Dyaneshwar, LIC Housing Finance?
As Kunal rightly mentioned that the 495, 496 would be an triangles breakout zone. So I would wait for bulls to be take out the 496, 97 level. Then only I will go into the stocks, and by keeping a stop loss of near about 475.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. And okay, Raja, what's your view?
I would be a contrarian sell, because I find that the momentum which actually took the prices from its lower levels, it is actually my Ichimoku study on the resistance zone. So one could, if you want to take a contrarian bet, can short with a 20 rupees stop loss above 503.
At the current market price, 480?
Yeah, the current market.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. We're getting the first contrarian view at this point of time. Short at 480 with a stop loss of 20 rupees. That means close to 500 would be your stop loss on LIC Housing Finance. A large chart from the day, at least from the analyst before Yash again comes in, is Biocon. And Raja is here to explain why he wants to buy it. And just to give a perspective, Biocon is one of the best performing pharma stocks of late. When the others are correcting, Biocon seems to be in its own trajectory. Why are you bullish?
Yeah, after its sharp move in September, stock went through a phase of consolidation. This is a weekly chart, and we can see that the consolidation did not give up its gains. And what we are seeing now is a nice trendline breakout. And the stock is managing to do well over the last 3 days when market is actually a little confused. The stock is actually being patronized by the bulls. You can see here on the downside that I have also used a momentum indicator which is called as the ADX and DMI. And I can see that the positive DI line, which is the green line, this is actually going up, which suggests that the bulls are definitely in this counter. So one could actually participate on the long side in this.
Okay, okay, explain this line that you made. What's the rationale?
I have gone from its last high, its previous high,
to
all the way down.
Okay.
And the last week itself, we had a small breakout here. And now this week, a strong move to the upside.
Okay, 665, would you buy at this level?
Yes, I would buy at this level.
And what's your stop loss target?
Stop loss will be below 625.
Okay.
And for an upside to first target will be around 700. Then the next target is 725.
Okay, so that's a positional call that's coming in on Biocon. Kunal, Biocon, what's your view?
So, since January 2018 on weekly chart, this stock is under diametric triangle formation, diamond formation, I would say. So, this stock is reached near to that peak level itself. So, I would wait for the counter to either cross 675 on the higher side, or I would think of accumulating near 625 mark.
Okay. It's a wait and watch approach. Dyaneshwar, what's your view?
Yeah, stock, if you go to the higher time frame chart, stock is moving in a clear uptrend, I could say, and secular uptrend. Recently, it was unfolded into the corrective pattern, so I would wait for to get the breakout at the 690 level. So above 690, the stock will move again into the uncharted territory.
Okay, so that's a call that's coming in, but nevertheless, the trend seems to be on the positive side for Biocon. And before we end the show, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on escorts. Yash, what is the chart indicating?
So like we do every time, Darshan, so not a call coming in yet. It's at crucial level, so we are using the trender indicator again, and the stock is within 1% of the trender line. So the green line over here, that is the trender line. It's at the mark of 724 and a half. Not suggesting that it would cross below the trend line today itself, but the fact that it is within 1% and that we've seen a spectacular run on the upside when the trender had flipped its color, it's crucial to note that it is trading currently at very close levels to the trender.
Okay, and Yash, for the past record, if you take a look at what's the historical average return?
So on an average, Darshan, the 4 out of the last 6 times that the trender indicator has flipped its color, one could watch out for returns on the downside of close to 4.5% over the next 10 trading sessions.
Okay, so that's a substantial upside. But remember, the trender line, for the counter to close, it has to close below 725 or 724.50. If it closes below that, then the trender gets activated. So it's no trade as of now. But we'll ask our guest, Dyaneshwar, Escorts, what would you do?
Darshan, if you look at the overall chart structure, recently stock has corrected from the level of 1000 towards the 550, and again it has given a pullback. The recent chart structure suggests that the pattern has been overlapping pattern. So this would be a correction if the stock is if the bears is managed to take out the 715 level. So I would be a seller in this counter.
Okay, you would be a seller in the counter. What about you, Kunal?
Daily chart rising wedge, the breakout on the lower side will be say below 725. So once 725 is taken out, certainly short.
Till that time, no trade.
No trade.
What about you, Raja?
So I won't be a seller in this. Since it's far from 1000, it's actually around the 500 to 525 zone is actually forming a double bottom. So a move above 770, I would actually be a buyer.
Okay, and at this level, no trade.
No trade.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Escorts, and since we have time, we'll ask our guest a view on the index. But firstly, it's important to highlight pretty much the stock of the day, and that is Sun Pharma. What should one do in Sun Pharma, Dyaneshwar? What are the leave the news aside?
Okay.
What if you go by pure technicals? What is it indicating?
See, Sun Pharma higher time frame as well as a lower time frame indicates the stock is moving in a clear downtrend, but oscillator suggests that the oversold they are coming into the oversold zone. So if shorting opportunity, this is not the right level because risk reward ratio is not favorable. Wait for a pullback, then only you can go.
But overall trend seems to be on the downside.
Yes.
Kunal, what's your view?
No, certainly, but here the contra view will literally work. You know, near to 1200 mark when the Sun Pharma made the high, there was a blow of volume at that same. Now the same thing is happening near to the bottom. So for this month, if the stock remains above say 400 mark on the closing basis, I would think of accumulating the stock.
Okay, and Raja, what's your view?
Yeah, it's a clear bearish trend. So I would trade with the trend and either sell around 390 zone or rally towards the 425 to 430 zone. I would be a seller.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. And before we end, a view on the indices itself, Raja. We are finding it very difficult to come close to the 11,000 mark. We're not able to sustain. What should one do with the Nifty? If you have an index strategy, if you have an option strategy, what should that be?
Amongst the index, the Nifty and Bank Nifty are both contrarian. Bank Nifty is placed much better than the Nifty.
Yeah.
First up. Second is around the gap zone, around the 10,000, 10,950 mark. That's been a problem for the Nifty. So if Nifty doesn't close above 11,000, one should actually be using a sell on rally approach.
Okay, what about you, Kunal?
So no, it's in clear consolidation. We saw breakout a day before yesterday, but it's not able to surpass that 920 mark itself. So 10,920, 925. If at all is taken out decisively on the higher side, we may see the market reaching near to say 11,050, 11,100 mark. But otherwise, as of now, it's a cautious approach.
Cautious. What about you, Dyaneshwar?
Recent chart structure suggests that the Nifty is moving into the tight consolidation zone. So, you know, rather going for a directional view on the indices, one should look for a stock-specific action.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Thank you to all of my guests. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Hot Money. Dyaneshwar, Kunal, Raja, thank you so much for giving in all the strategies. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.